Michelle Williams is a Grammy Award-winning artist and actress who rose to stardom as a member of the R&B supergroup Destiny's Child and was also recently on Fox's hit series The Masked Singer. In addition to being an artist and entertainer, she's also an advocate for mental health and empowerment. Michelle is an ambassador for the Office on Women's Health, which is a division of the US Department of Health and Human Services. And there, she promotes awareness for optimal physical and mental well being through a combination of nutrition, exercise, and proper medical care. In her new book, Checking In, Michelle tells the intimate story of how, in the midst of enormous fame and success, she battled depression, which led her to find her true calling as an advocate for mental health, especially her own. Michelle Williams, welcome to Healthline. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. From what I'd been hearing, these conversations have been powerful.
So powerful. We've had some really amazing guests, and I'm so glad that you're here. You are have this amazing career. You are a Grammy-winning artist. You're a Broadway actor, an entrepreneur, and now an author. And so your book, Checking In: How Getting Real About Depression Saved My Life and Can Save Yours, literally just came out today. So can you tell us a little bit about your process in writing this book?
Oh, wow. Well, the actual official process, with the book publisher started in 2019. But there were tidbits that I was writing in my journal, even from my hospital stay in 2018. Um,
Mhm.
so the process has kind of been incremental, but it was a beautiful process. A woman named Holly Crawshaw helped me, make it all make sense. My publishing company, it was just brilliant. And I had heard scary stories like, well, when you sign with a major publishing company, they're going to try to make you tell a different story. And it wasn't like that. I'm telling exactly everything that happened as I remember as they happened.
Mhm.
And it's been a truly restorative process.
That's amazing. And what's interesting too is that you had been a mental health advocate for several years before bravely coming forward to talk about your own experiences. And so, what inspired you to seek out treatment and also to share your story so widely?
Well, I'll answer backwards. Back in 2012 or 2013, when I was promoting a musical, the Broadway touring show of Fela, I was talking to a journalist from the Associated Press, and it was such a beautiful conversation. And somehow it just came out that I'd been
Mhm.
suffering with depression. So I didn't think people were gonna read it or see it, but it became the headline from that interview. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my Lord, what did I just do? Fast forwarding to 2018 with the hospital stay, I had
Mhm.
gone 5 years and I was championing this topic, and I felt like such a hypocrite. I can imagine if a doctor has to go to the hospital, do people side eye the doctor that's in the hospital? Like, you should know, you're the doctor. You should be the last person in the hospital. I started feeling that way, you know. But at the end of the day, when you strip everything away from me, I'm human. When you strip away the advocacy, when you strip away even the help that you've been giving other people, I am
Mhm.
human. And so hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to, you put on your life mask first before you can help other people. So we're glad that you were able to get that help and that you're, here talking about it today.
Yes.
Um, you came of age in the spotlight. And so how did the pressures of your fame and success and just media attention, social media, how did that impact your mental health as a young person and later as an adult?
Well, the good thing is when I started with Destiny's Child in the year 1999, early 2000s, there was no social media. And if there was, we didn't
Mhm.
know about it. I mean, um, you had YouTube and you had the internet. You could search pages, but there was no Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So, and I'm kind of glad about that. I'm kind of glad about that we were spared what new artists and entertainers have to go through. Now, I have been victim of the whole cyberbullying thing, so I'm not immune to it. But I can imagine adding that when we were first starting out. Ooh, that would be hard. So my heart goes out to people that are always in social media, not at their hands.
Yeah, just that constant attention and really being under a microscope.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I remember in one interview reading that you had talked about this realization that you had probably been struggling with depression since you were a teenager, but at the time you just didn't feel like you had the words to articulate it. And what was that experience like as a young person? How did that show up for you?
As a young person, depression showed up for me in isolation, fatigue, loss of interest. My grades were dropping, and I wasn't a 4.0 student, but I also wasn't a 1.5 student either. And as I'm talking about, as far as GPA is concerned, my grades dropped, and thankfully I got a mentor. And I kind of briefly, I didn't share everything, but I just asked for a tutor and some help, but I didn't tell them exactly what I was feeling. Because I didn't know, but that's how it started. But I thought maybe I'm just going through puberty. Maybe I'm just going through growing pains. I was like, is this what is this what it's like? I'll just roll with it, and then it just followed me. And then I got an official diagnosis in my 30s.
Wow. I think that's just so important and so interesting because it's also really relatable. Anxiety, depression, other mental health issues, they don't always show up in the same way or look and feel the same way, or it's not this textbook definition of symptoms. And so based on your experience, what advice or words of wisdom might you offer to other young people who are going through something similar right now?
Well, now in 2021, because mental health is now at the forefront. You know, as a child, we did have computers, and so I always loved playing the games on computers, or I was always typing up a book report or something. But I feel like young people today are able to Google, what does it mean when I'm feeling like, right? Now, that doesn't mean to diagnose yourself, but it kind of give you some language to maybe you can tell a counselor at school, or maybe if you have a great relationship with your parents, to say, you guys, I was looking this up and this is kind of what I've been feeling like lately. And hopefully the parents can say, hey, let's go get you checked out.
Right. Well, I know you have a really busy day with the book release, but before you go, I wanted to just ask, what else is on the horizon for you with the book, with other projects and your mental health advocacy work, and how can our viewers here today and your fans out there join the conversation?
Well, Checking In is out right now. I've been looking on Instagram all day and people are showing me empty shelves, and I'm like, it's kind of good for me, but it's not good for the people who are trying to buy the book. But I'm excited. I have in January of 2022, there will be a journal to accompany this book called The Daily Check-In. It's 60 days of finding your wholeness and wellness. And so I'm excited about that. And I will be talking about checking in for the rest of my life, because I will be having to check in with myself, others, and God for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Everyone go and check out Checking In. And Michelle, it has been so lovely to chat with you today. Thank you again for being here, but also thank you for just everything that you're doing to really normalize this conversation around mental health.
Thank y'all so much for your support today. It was great to be in the conversation.